Now, fast forward 3 years later, and here's the new SFMOMA in 2016. Yes, it's hot. Well, it went away so the white would look better. And then here is another view of the tower from the back. Beautiful expansion, Norwegian architectural firm called Snøhetta. And we're really proud of the building, and it's just a tremendous opportunity, a tremendous arts and cultural center at the heart of San Francisco. A little bit about the building itself. We are now, at least until 2019, the largest museum of modern and contemporary art in America. We have about 126,000 feet of indoor space and about 16,000 feet of outdoor space. Big growth in the education and interpretation. The public space grew dramatically, so we have places where people can linger, bring their devices, relax. We're still working through the coffee issues because there's actually art in these spaces, so we're sort of treating them like galleries. But that's a big change for us. A lot of our brand promise as we expanded are about openness, welcoming, and generous. Those are the three words that we kept on saying over and over to each other that were going to be part of our brand. Oftentimes, especially contemporary art museums where the subject matter is often about the process instead of the final outcome, it's hard for the public to embrace some of this contemporary art. So that welcoming and that feeling of generosity were really important to us and to our brand. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you about CRM. CRM is really about community engagement, right? So we had this opportunity that we were going to be closed for 3 years, and I partnered with the Director of Marketing and Communication, our Deputy Museum Director of Externals, as well as myself and our Chief Content Officer to basically bring this new way of thinking to an organization that was traditionally very siloed. And so we really wanted to, we wanted to achieve this in terms of consolidating all of these constituents into our CRM platform, but we knew that we really wanted to focus on two really specific areas. Museums are typically really good at doing this right here, engaging the members and the donor. That's something that we've done. We just wanted to do it better. And then what was a bit of a mind shift for us was really engaging with our visitor, growing our list of prospects and sort of shifting away from the donor member only sort of channels, and how do we get these visitors to engage more with us? So that were in essence the big drivers behind CRM. There were lots of benefits to CRM, which again I don't have to. This audience, I'm sure you're all sort of aware. We wanted to consolidate all of our constituent information, basically break open the silos. We wanted to shift to a more data-driven analysis. We did a lot of surveys, we did a lot of qualitative stuff, but we wanted more quantitative data. How many people are coming, how many people are converting, how many. So that was a huge, factor in us, deciding to move toward a central CRM. And again, we wanted to shift this outreach from our member and donor community to encompass the larger visiting community, including the schools. And we wanted to basically provide 24/7 presence of our brand. One of the real important things around CRM that we realized early on, that we really needed to set up a structure for overall success, and that really focused on governance. Right, again, as I mentioned, the museum was very used to oh yeah, go ahead and put in that new system and we'll make the capital investment and then we're done and then we move off to the new thing. So we created this governance structure where we had a CRM executive group, right, that focused on everything strategic, approving funding, things related to our brand. There was a CRM working group that really focused on the tactical decisions and the strategic decisions. Now, this group in particular was comprised of key stakeholders. We had stakeholders from marketing, development, education, the retail store. So we really brought together these disparate group of people from across the organization to help start that process of change management. And we figured we needed to get buy-in early on, and we needed to provide sustained encouragement. That's what I used all the time now at the museum, is sustained encouragement. This isn't just a one-off. And then we had a CRM user group, which were actually the people not at the operational levels, the data entry people, So we did training there. We heard about what was working, what wasn't working, and come up with new ideas to continue to promote the idea of CRM across the institution. I spoke a few minutes ago about the metrics of success and how we wanted to keep them really, really tight. So we said, well, let's be thoughtful. We're opening up a new museum. Everything is changing. What are the things that we really want to focus on? So we also wanted to grow our ticket purchases from 2% to 20%. That was our goal. In the old museum, we used to use Ticketmaster Vista, and so we actually were selling tickets through Ticketmaster. It was a terrible experience. The login didn't work, the member discounts didn't work, very separate. So, 2%, we thought, wow, 20% is really, if we do 20%, we're going to be doing really, really well. Well, today we're actually between 30 and 40% of all of our ticket sales are happening online. When we first opened, of course, the tickets were only available online, so like 80% of them got sold online. But now, 5.5 months later, we're seeing sort of a steady state around between 30 and 40% of our overall ticket sales happening online. Great opportunity, because every time you sell a ticket online, you're capturing an email. So it's been really, really successful. We also wanted to increase our email communication opt-in. So we had about 30,000 members in our sort of or constituents in our email marketing system before we closed. We were hoping to grow that to 500,000. Again, we exceeded that. We're at 800,000 people now. Now, interesting, I was speaking to one of my colleagues before coming, and that number has really shifted a little bit. I think since this is new to us, we are tending to over-communicate. So we're actually seeing that if we communicate too much, we see our opt-out numbers starting to decline a bit. So it's something that we're really trying to get the right rhythm around.
So how much do you think number 2 has to do with number 3?
Oh, a lot.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's a big relationship there. But we also try to collect email in other ways. So even when you come to buy a ticket, because a lot of people still come to the box office to buy a ticket, we ask people for their email address. We've been, I'd say, anecdotally, probably around 12% of the people volunteer their email addresses. Of course, that is at odds with our 45-second transaction. So we're like, okay, so depending on how busy we are, the visitor experience service providers are a little bit more apt to ask for the email address.
Can I ask of our guests that work for a cultural institution, how many of you ask for email addresses at your transaction?
And do you consider that an opt-in? I mean, it's free. You're free to market it them as soon as they've done that.
Yes. And then we give them the ability, obviously, to opt out when we send them the first email. So what we do now with visitation is when you buy a ticket online or on premise, if you give us your email address, we will send you a pre-visit email saying, oh, thanks, I know you're coming tomorrow. We actually do printed home tickets as well, just like you do from Fandango or at the movie theater. And then when you leave, 2 days, I think 24 to 48 hours after you leave, we send you a follow-up email with 3 short survey questions asking you about your experience. So that was something that I think has been a really interesting way of engaging, particularly these audiences. I'm not quite sure. I'll have to ask the marketing folks how well that's going. And all that, by the way, is coming back into Tessitura.
One other question on the opt-in. When people transact with you online, either through your store or ticketing, does that automatically opt them?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Do you,
Pre-check.
on site, when you collect email address, you only collect email or do you collect names as well?
Just email. I think we're trying to scrape the name off the credit card, because we can do it when we read the tracks. There's some privacy issues there. We're trying to consider, and it's still aspirational for us. But no, for now we just capture the email address.
You're not taking a picture of the credit card.
No. And then this is the one that's really surprising, is that our online store sales grew by 100%, and we were hoping that it would grow by around 10%. And this, I was just texting our retail director this morning, and I was like, Jana, I'm like, really, we're at 100%? You know, I thought we were like at 50%. She said, no, we've doubled our online sales. Again, they were modest to begin with, and she really attributed this to our email marketing. You know, our direct product marketing. Hey, you came to the show. Oh, here's the catalog. Oh, you know. So we're trying to do a lot more of that sort of targeted marketing, and we spend no marketing dollars on marketing the retail store online. Zero marketing dollars yet.
How much on average would you pull in from an email marketing campaign on send a newsletter out? What sort of number, what volume of orders do you get coming in off that?
Again, I'll have to check with my retail folks. I was just texting them this morning. I think it's actually I think it's pretty high, the response that they get to those to the retail specific targeted email. The membership, which is what we call the exhibition and program guide, which is our membership newsletter. That's a little bit. I don't think we're quite there yet in terms of tracking what the efficacy of that is. But that also goes out to folks that are already members. So it's going to be interesting over time as we accumulate more data to see, hey, are they giving us more donations? You know, are they giving us an extra gift every year beside their gift of membership? Or, you know, are they bringing their friends? You know, depending on the level of membership that you buy, you either get, you know, 2 guests for free or 4 guests for free, or, you know, if you bring 6 guests, you have to pay for the other 2 guests. So there are revenue potential of having members bring in additional guests. So we'll see over time as we start to aggregate more data if we can derive some sort of meaning in terms of how efficient the membership magazine is.
For your online ticket purchasers, do you have demographic information about them? Do you have is there a pattern or anything that you notice that certain people, is it mostly domestic that way?
It's mostly domestic. It's mostly people in San Francisco. Very, very high volume of domestic. Over the summer, we saw a slight uptick in the international visitors, but like you at MoMA, those folks tend to actually come in and buy a ticket, as opposed to, you know, transacting online, whether it's their data usage or the language barrier, because our site is only available in English at the moment. Those folks tend to come in and buy their tickets on site, but most of our sales are the local market for the ticketing. So a little bit of our CRM timeline. We started the process in November of 2012, and we made a decision in April of 2014. As I mentioned, we look at a variety of vendors, Satura, Razor's Edge, Salesforce. You know, as a technologist, I was very keen on moving to Salesforce. And I think we discovered very quickly a couple of things. A, the cost was going to be a little bit beyond what we could consider, given our budgetary constraints. But additionally, you know, our level of institutional maturity in terms of being able to adopt a tool like Salesforce that requires a lot of investment and a lot of ongoing customization wasn't very high. So that was, I think, a really contributing factor in us choosing Tessitura. We felt it was the right tool for us at this moment in time. 5 years from now, after Douglas Hegley and Diana have perfected Salesforce integrations, I think I'm going to be the first one going, yay, let's do it. But for now, I think this seemed to be the most appropriate solution for us. So we converted all the development data from Razor's Edge in July of 2014. That took a long time. It was hard mapping, and it took a little while. A lot of finagling there. We hired a data quality manager, going back to data integrity and the importance of data hygiene. We made a point of that early on, and in our strategic plan for CRM, we definitely included having someone here to watch over the data. Then we converted our PR marketing folks. They were using a product called Cision. I don't know if anyone's heard of that. It's a very niche product. And FileMaker, we brought them into CRM. We also wrote a separate application that helps the press folks log in and get images. All that is still driven from, it's still Tessitura based. We offered online and membership donations in October of 2015. We converted education, which, I mean, talk about data hygiene. We had tons and tons of duplicate records in Ticketmaster Vista. Schools would show up 3 times, teachers would show up multiple times with different email addresses and different addresses. There was Excel spreadsheets, there was FileMaker database. I mean, there was a lot of heavy lifting, and it seems like just one small bullet point, but it actually took a lot of work to get our education folks into the fold, so to speak. We offered online tickets in March of 2016, about 3 months before we opened. And we plan to post for a new an analytics data scientist later this year that will live in marketing. It was a very busy period, and folks had to really button down for 3 years. As a matter of fact, this year we took a gigantic vacation accrual because folks just basically didn't take vacation for 3 years. We have these sort of heroes in our organization, going back to that one-of, we have the one-off, and the one-ofs had to, pick up the pieces for this and pick up the pieces for that. And of course we augmented, we had a lot of resource augmentation, and we had budget to do things. But yeah, it was a very, very interesting time. I've never experienced anything like that in my career. It was really fun. And then here's the nerdy slide, just to talk a little bit about, you'll see Tessitura, the big red dot in the middle. Everything to the right and above Tessitura is stuff that is natively integrated with Tessitura. So, for example, this is we're using SendGrid. So this is what spits out the printed home tickets. We don't do it from our exchange organization or anything like that. We just use it through a third-party provider. So all the printed home tickets go out through SendGrid. Our email appeals is a product called WordFly, which is also deeply integrated with Tessitura. Again, we pull up all of our lists from Tessitura. We do all the blasts, and then everything comes back in terms of click-throughs and open rates and all those things. Artifacts is the one spot where that was a product that was originally integrated with Tessitura. So we had constituent in Tessitura to entity in Artifacts. Artifacts is our facilities scheduling system. If you all know, you're familiar. And so that we actually rolled out the new version of Artifacts, and some of the features that we were expecting to be there are not quite there yet. So that's one of those integrations that's a little bit of a hot topic for us at the moment, since our educators are really interested in having the schools basically book the day that they want to come, and they want to do it in an automated fashion. So we have some more work to do there. The other part is the business intelligence engine, which also came as part of Tessitura, which is T-Stat. So it's a Microsoft SQL cube, and so you're able to go in there and do, it's like pivot tables on steroids. And then from that, we also have dashboards that we haven't rolled out yet. There's a lot of sensitivity about people interpreting these dashboards versus actual, how many members do we have, how many tickets did we sell today. We'd like to make that much more public internally to our user community, but again, the organization has been a little cautious, and so it's coming soon. And then the other integration that we wrote is this direct integration between Tessitura and Relate, which is the CRM system or the loyalty program CRM for our brick and mortar store. And that's the integration that we wrote in-house. That's really a live integration. On the other side, then you have our middleware, which is that RESTful wrapper around Tessitura that provides, basically consolidates all the calls. So for example, when you say, get me member info, well, that's like 5 calls in Tessitura to the Tessitura API. So to make it easier for all the consumers of CRM information, we consolidated that. So now you just make, get me member, here's a name or here's a constituent ID, and boom, the middleware does all the work for you and gives you back standard JSON for everything. And then so the other integration here was between the web and the middleware, which is for all the member sales and the ticket sales. The mobile touring application, which is based on the Detour touring engine, that also communicates with the middleware. So as a member, you can log in, get your digital membership card. You can also buy tickets from within the app and get your printed home tickets right on your phone. And then Magento, which is our retail e-commerce platform, all of your login for members and non-members happens through the middleware again. So we're collecting all that prospect information. So if you're a non-member and you decide to create an account, you're going into Tessitura. You're also going into Magento's local database. So if the middleware is for some reason not available, you are still able to log in. So we're doing a little bit of trying to be a little bit intelligent mapping between those two systems.
Question.
Yes.
Does the brick and mortar store talk to Magento from like inventory? When you set an item up, do you have to set it up in both spots?
No, that's all driven by it's not on this picture, but our back-end inventory management, which is called Win Retail, is the bridge between the brick and mortar store and Magento. So that's where all the inventory, all the purchasing happens, all the inventory is kept. The brick and mortar store is just like a polling thing, so it gets all the inventory, and they can look into Win Retail, but the nexus is really Win Retail itself, which again, doesn't have an API. We had to do a lot of massaging on that. It's all automated XML exports, but again, we weren't ready to change out that system quite yet. I'd be really eager to talk to you about teamwork and see how that's working for you. So again, the challenges around data governance, I can't understate this enough. This is such a fundamental shift for us. I mean, our data was just so messy. So we created a new area called Constituent Information Management, and then hired a data quality manager there that's also supported by someone in my team, which is a data business analyst / project manager. I actually brought her in to start the project management practice just for CRM, but she actually came from industry, so she came from Gap and Schwab, and she's ended up being just a tremendous asset in terms of being the glue between the web, finance, and constituent information management. So that's also a really sort of interesting model that we have. We identified the business owners early, and we engaged them really early, so all the folks from education and marketing, I mean, they bought into this idea early on. And that was, of course, supported by our governance process and those three teams around governance. With the introduction of e-commerce, we have more frequent deduplication and standardizing of addresses. We're working to, moving from a more reactive to more automated data quality and letting people sort of get their own reports. And then the other part, this is really important, we're working really closely with our colleagues in digital to make sure that we have rigorous QA around the integration between the website and Tessitura. Again, this is a really, a lot of QA. It's beyond happy testing, as you were talking about. So you have to do all, oftentimes we hear, oh, that's an edge case. And I'm like, yeah, but that edge case is happening 70 times a day. And all of a sudden we've got, customers that are in here 3 times, or they're having a bad experience because their sessions got confused. And so there's a lot of focus now on the quality of the website code as it relates to CRM. So some of the challenges, again, managing that complex environment. Most of our services are on the cloud. We have the luxury of just having built a brand new museum, and we have this incredible data center. We've invested heavily in virtualization. So we can do a lot. We can provide, platform as a service. We can do a lot of stuff in-house, but we are really, thinking about migrating more and more of our services to the cloud. But we have to, manage this pretty complex environment. The question about what to build in-house versus using third-party resources kind of been another challenge. Like I said, the middleware was a collaboration between SFMOMA IT, software development, and POP agency in Seattle. Monitoring uptime and service agreements. The privacy and security, of course, are always a concern. We do not store any credit card information at the moment, so we've really tried to minimize our PCI risk. We've had some desire expressed by our membership team. They want to do auto renewals, and they want to, store. Oh, can we store the credit card? And I'm like, So Tessitura is now through Vantage supporting tokenization. So in the next couple of years, we might look at, does it really make sense to, to tokenize? We've heard anecdotally that a lot of other museums have tried this auto renewal, and that hasn't really worked that well. So we'll continue to do more research and talk to our colleagues to see how that's.
We use authorized on that with Salesforce. We support auto renewal.
You do, and how do you know what percentage of your overall membership is auto renewed?
Not off the top of my head, but it's a noticeable percentage.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we should definitely chat about that. I'd like to bring that news back home.
We should wrap up.
Okay, and ensuring consistency of brand and policies across all the channels, role models. We looked at, wait, where am I? Aspirations. Oh, right. measure the efficacy of our marketing campaigns, move to those self-service dashboards that I talked about. We're at about a 270-degree view. I think once we fold in the store, and again, a lot of that, we're hoping to achieve that through extending T-Stats, the business intelligence engine. The store is all Microsoft-based as well. So it's just a matter of adding additional dimensions because we already have constituent data on the store side. So that's one of the things that we're going to be looking at over the next 12 months. And then really utilize the transactional data for operational and strategic decisions. And finally, who did we look at? Well, we looked at our professional and personal networks. We looked at the Testadura community of member organizations, and we looked at for-profit organizations to see how they approached e-commerce.
Thank you.
Thank you.